The church is at a crossroads, caught in the winds of change. This is a sign of the times. History moves forward at a relentless speed, and the church hierarchy always seems to arrive late to every epochal turning point. We saw it in the 60s when the sexual revolution broke out, promising freedom, and ended up devouring its own children, leaving behind a sea of existential emptiness. At the time, the church clearly condemned the moral drift. But today, when humanity is beginning to tire of gender ideology, radical feminism, and woke totalitarianism, when, that is, people are beginning to doubt these dogmas, we see a church hierarchy trapped in ambiguity, almost like someone who doesn't know which way to turn, trying to adapt to a world that is already going in another direction. Documents like Amoris Laetitia and Fiducia Supplicans try to update the church with ideas that are already outdated, ideas that are a bit stale. The Marxist-modernist hierarchy that governs the church today seems unaware that postmodernism has already entered its decadent phase. Like an old EUR building, people are tired of globalist manipulation, relativism, and the tyranny of every desire is a right, as a spoiled child would say. The church, in its attempt to adapt, ends up chasing ideologies that are decades old, embracing causes that the world itself is already beginning to reject, like an outdated outfit. Added to this is the illness of Pope Francis, which puts a hegemonic and authoritarian church government in check, like a control tower without a controller. Although he has shaped the College of Cardinals with men who share his vision, like a soccer coach choosing his team, the reality is that new winds are blowing, like the north wind sweeping away the clouds. Synodality is supported only by the European hierarchy, and is encountering growing resistance in Africa, Oceania, and parts of the United States. Latin America, always used as an ideological bastion, like an impregnable fortress, has less and less real weight in the church's decisions, like an old lion without teeth. But on this political and doctrinal chessboard, as complicated as a chess match with Kasparov, there is one factor that the hierarchy forgets. Jesus Christ is the head, the king, the one who has the last word. As Dante would say, and judgment is in his power, the one who has the last word. The church is not a sociological experiment or an ideological laboratory. It is not about adapting to the world, but about saving souls. It's not about following fashion, but about following the path of salvation. What is left for us Catholics to do? First, do not despair. Let's not get discouraged. We mustn't be like naysayers. The crisis is real, but the final victory does not depend on human structures. Let us remember that God helps those who help themselves. Second, remain in the truth with charity, without falling into hatred or despair. We must be like St. Francis, bearers of peace. Christ commanded us to pray even for our enemies, Matthew 5:44. As the saying goes, kill them with kindness. Even if we think the Pope has made serious mistakes, our task is to pray for his conversion. We must pray for him as a mother would for her child. St. Paul said it clearly in Ephesians 6:12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." In other words, we are not fighting against people, but against the forces of evil. The real battle is not political or ideological. It is spiritual. It is an inner battle, like the one Pinocchio fought against the cat and the fox. History is moving towards a turning point, and the new winds seem more like a hurricane than a gentle breeze, like a summer storm that turns into a flash flood. The stones are speaking. The world no longer tolerates mediocrity, the hypocrisy of an aberrant do-goodism. Even the walls have ears, and now they are screaming. The hurricane has not yet made landfall, but the clash will come. As they say, the calm before the storm. Let's get ready because we are witnessing turbulent times that herald the end of an era, like a clock ticking down the last seconds before midnight. Only God knows what awaits us, and with these words, he warns us in Matthew 10:34, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." In this verse, Jesus warns his disciples that his message will not be accepted by everyone, and that following him can cause divisions, even within families. It does not mean that Christ promotes violence. but that his truth can generate conflict between those who accept it and those who reject it. This was the Bell Tower of Vendy. Leave us a like and share it. Goodbye, beloved warriors of the Lord.